New Media Rockstar viewers, we implore you to go back and check out The Mythical Show. Yeah, 30 minutes is not a long time.
But
you know?
30 times 12 is 6 hours.
But that's math, and don't worry about that.
1/4 of a day. Don't go to school. And you know what you should do? You should not go to school. You should play hooky. Hooky? Is that what they call it?
A lot of these people are professionals too, Rhett. I mean, these are not just students.
You should not go to work.
You should not go to life.
You should quit your job, and you should watch our show in a marathon format.
Rhett and Link is a creative collective consisting of two people, me, Link, and this guy, Rhett. I carry most of the weight.
I feel like if we could describe what we do in a few words, we'd probably know what to do every day we come here.
It's nice to, having done so many different things as we've kind of grown our audience, that anything's fair game. Now, whether we're good at all those things is still questionable. I think.
Yeah. I'm good at 75% of it. I think a big part of it is that we've always kind of worked towards the same thing.
Are you about to say something moving?
No.
Am I going to like start crying?
Well, you might cry a little bit.
Make me cry, Rhett.
That's not my intention. Early on, we kind of decided that we were going to work together. In fact, we were in middle school or early high school when we did that blood oath thing. This is serious.
Yeah.
We did a blood oath.
Early high school, we went to a cow pasture and we wrote out an oath, and then we signed it in our own blood. There were 2 copies, as with any covenant.
Yeah.
And then we kept each of them in our wallets until like I lost my wallet. And then you just don't keep up with things.
I lost mine like 3 days later.
But we remember the blood oath that we had to create something together. It's like, we're gonna make something big together. That's like the language that was in it.
It was very
sincere.
It was very sincere, but it was also very ambiguous because it was like,
right.
we're gonna do something together. Maybe we should redo it. Like
I can't find it.
Like renewing a marriage vow kind of thing. I think that's always sort of the thing that kind of keeps us focused, and because we work really well together, but there's a lot of disagreement and a lot of arguing that gets kind of part of our creative process. It's just kind of part of the way we work together. That I think that if we, that's the key to it, kind of going for so long. It's just always kind of having a common goal.
Things are getting hairy, gotta end it now. My unibrow.
First music videos we made was called the Unibrow Song. It's about the unibrows that we had and how to deal with them. That was featured on the YouTube homepage, and then we started to realize that we could kind of develop an audience based around our YouTube videos and not just us goofing off and, hey, by the way, let's just throw it on the internet. And so we started building that audience. But then, like you said, we got the call one day from a television producer who said, hey, we're making a show. It's basically a clip show of internet videos, but it's going to be on television, called Online Nation. We want to use a couple of your clips.
And we ended up hosting that show. Long story short, we ended up hosting that show. When we began hosting that show, we were like, all right, we're going to be in the entertainment industry full time. The show got canceled, and we were like, all right, well, we've got the internet, so let's put everything we've got into this YouTube channel. And that was when we began making very regular videos, almost weekly. And, it was very, very slow going for at least a year of making these videos and living off that little money that we made in the television show and starting to think, well, how is all this going to come together? And eventually it got to the point where we started making sponsored videos, and that was kind of the beginning of our business model. And this is before the partner program, before you could actually just get paid by putting a video up on YouTube. We had to approach companies directly and say, hey, we've got an idea, you've got a brand that would work well for this, let's do something together. And then, of course, following that up with the partner program, and now we continue to do sponsored videos. I mean, this has kind of become our business, is just making online content for our channel, our 2 channels, and occasionally for other places too. We don't do one thing. I think that doing a lot of different genres of video, I mean, it's always funny. We don't do any videos that aren't funny, or at least they're all supposed to be funny. I think the key to having longevity for us has definitely been the diversity of our content, and it also it's easier to come up with ideas when pretty much anything that might be funny to us and might be funny to our audience could go on our channel. It's kind of a catch-22 because doing a lot of different things is very rarely going to make you really popular on YouTube. And I think we've kind of we've maintained a great fan base, but like Link said, we're not in the top 100 anymore. I don't know if we ever will be. I don't think that's our goal necessarily. Most of the people who are in those top positions are like, oh yeah, the guy that does this thing and does it really well. But I know people who do that kind of thing and they want to do other things too. It's like nobody wants to do the same thing all the time. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse, but I think the key to the longevity is just the diversity of content. The Mythical Show kind of created this challenge for us to be like, how can we put together everything that we've done in something, and can we build an audience around that? And I think the jury is still kind of out on how, well people have responded to it. I think people who watch it really love it, but it's still, and this is why YouTube's willing to innovate in this area, it's not the kind of thing that people make a decision to watch on YouTube. They make a decision to watch the 3 to 5 minute video.
Yeah, people don't think about YouTube as, oh, I'm going to sit down and watch a show for 30 minutes in the way that they think about Hulu or the way that they think about Netflix, the way that I think about Netflix and Hulu. I've even had to kind of shift my perspective in order to watch my own show. We wanted to do the show because we wanted to be some of the first people to say, once it does happen, once there is more and more long form on YouTube, I want people to say, oh, you want to know one of the first shows that did that? Go back and watch Rhett and Link's Mythical Show, and you'll see what they tried way back in 2013.
We learned a whole lot. We produced more content in a shorter period of time than we ever have. We have so much new content. We learned so much. We made an animated show.
We probably went 5 times like our normal production.
Oh yeah. We sang some of Taylor Swift's most popular songs.
And let YouTube's automatic closed caption tool translate them.
I knew you were troubled when you walked in. So machine mommy now, blue mean, defeated and never paying. Na Cold War now. Couple.
If you just look at it from a financial perspective, it makes a lot more sense and dollars for us to make those individual pieces of content that you would expect not only from us but from a YouTube viewing experience. But we place a premium on innovating and saying, okay, we're some of the first people trying this particular thing and helping blaze a trail and to change people's mindset as they approach a YouTube video. It means a lot to us to be those people who've innovated. It doesn't translate into as much money on the front end. So I kind of see it as an investment in kind of the future of YouTube. And YouTube was willing to invest in us because they want that to be part of their future.
When you do this kind of thing for a living, when you create entertainment for a living, you're not just doing it just to do something that's financially viable, because that's just, you'll lose yourself really quickly in that, and it'll get very boring and monotonous very quickly. We have to do things that challenge us creatively. The kinds of things that we're into personally, the kinds of things that we would enjoy personally, are the kinds of things that we want to continue to make. And the challenge of making a feature-length film is something that we want to do. Hopefully there will be some sort of financial strategy so we don't lose money, and maybe we'll make a lot of money if it works, but it's really more about the creative process and trying to be strategic creatively, not just financially.
We have our audience here online. We did a television show that took us away for almost a year. A lot of our audience online couldn't see the show, Commercial Kings, on IFC. It was frustrating being able to come back and kind of realign with our audience and connect with them and create things that engage us and engage them. I think that's our main strategy. That's our main thrust. We haven't made any specific plans for what we're doing next.
Well, because the one thing that we haven't been able to do while making the Mythical Show is sit down and just think. And I think that's a big part of what we do, is we sit down, we think, we talk, we have desks that face one another, as crazy as that sounds, because our creative process involves bouncing things off of each other until it becomes something that we both like.
Like this,
We're not
Idea.
really that close.
Idea.
We're like,
Give me an idea. Say idea back to me.
idea 1
Idea 2.
becomes idea 3. See
My
that?
response to idea 3 becomes idea 1 again. That's kind of what
It's more exciting than that.
Once we get back from vacation, that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're gonna be saying idea 1,
Idea 2.
idea 2, and idea 3 back and forth.
Until we're like, ooh, yeah, let's do that.
There's what's the most strategic, for remaining relevant on YouTube? Because that's a question that every YouTube creator has to ask themselves. And we're not above that question. We are trying to maintain and build an audience on YouTube. And so that's always going to be part of the conversation. And then there's how can we challenge ourselves creatively? Sometimes those things go hand in hand. Sometimes the answer to those questions is the same and you can move forward. Sometimes it's like, well, we got to work on this because it's challenging, and we've got to do this because it's going to maintain an audience. And having those conversations and kind of figuring out what the best plan of attack is.
But I will say this, in the first few episodes of the Mythical Show, there was a lot of backlash that we weren't doing Good Mythical Morning again. I think for the fans of Good Mythical Morning, we had taken away their cereal. I get up, I get my Frosted Mini Wheats, and I get my Good Mythical Morning. You've taken that away. I hate you, Rhett and Link. What is this Mythical Show? 30 minutes is just once a week. Got a lot of that. We also got, why do you have a studio audience? That sucks. So, episode 2, we killed the studio audience. Literally, everyone who was in the audience, we murdered them.
We murdered all 12 of them.
So, episode 2 through 12, there is no studio audience because we developed the Mythical Show in response to our audience. But the one thing we couldn't do was stop the Mythical Show and just go back to Good Mythical Morning because we were committed to doing something new. So, I'm happy that here we are at the final episode of season 1 of the Mythical Show, and I see in the comments now there's still that discussion of people saying I can't wait for Good Mythical Morning to come back, and other people to say, yeah, but I love the Mythical Show. Our audience, seeing them as two distinct entities now that should not necessarily be compared to one another as vehemently as they had been. So now I see that both are on the table to come back at different times, and the things that we've learned from the Mythical Show, I think whenever we do relaunch Good Mythical Morning, which will probably be a component of the next thing we do, it will be informed by everything we've learned at such an accelerated pace in the production of the Mythical Show. And then, there's going to be a third thing, which if it has the word mythical in the title, will just become even more confusing and compared to the other things.
Yeah, we should probably come up with another word. Thanks for watching our interview.
Now, this video has been truncated. There's lots of things that we've said that I'm not going to say they were amazing, but they were written down. And if for some reason you want to know everything, is it everything? The whole transcript.
Yeah, newmediarockstars.com. Now,
you can read it.
They won't include the facial expressions that I was making that really enhanced this whole interview. That won't be in the notes, but just picture me.
I think my stomach started growling at one point. That's not going to be in there either.
No, that'll be in the notes.
It just did it right
there.
there.
That'll be in the notes.
If you had shut up, you could have heard it.